Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Tone and I haven't had the chance to talk to in this setting our good friend D Gunn in a while. And you know what? I was touching base with him on Sunday. He said, you know what, man, would love to get your insights on what's happening with the Birds. And guess what? Ask and you shall receive. There is that handsome lad right there, D Gunn. What's up, Gunner, man?
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing, man?
What a beautiful chocolate man. How you doing, sir?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I just got uncomfortable real quick. I'm like, who is he talking to here, man?
He wasn't talking to me.
Man.
Oh, that's great.
My goodness. Good to see you guys, man.
We miss you, man. We miss you a lot. You know that.
Absolutely, miss you guys, man.
We're thrilled that you get a couple minutes to hang with us. We know you're doing more important stuff right now, attending to the lovely Trish, and she's doing well, improving every day, and we love that.
She gets to come home tomorrow finally, and
awesome.
You know, still a long ways to go, but she is, man, she's such a fighter. I will not take no for an answer mentality, and she's learned how to do things to help us to help her. And they're really, this place that she's at down in Middletown, Delaware, Encompass, phenomenal rehab facility. They work her hard what she wants. And it's going to take a while, you know, and the neurologists tell you a lot of times, you know, you could see what you want to see in a month, could be 6 months, could be a year. But the bottom line is her birthday is this Saturday, and then Christmas Monday. She gets to be home for her birthday and Christmas. And more importantly, she gets to be here with the grandkids and her kids. That's all she cares about. So, you know, it's a blessing to us. She's home. Big blessing to her. She's going to be around her family for the holidays. So,
amen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amen.
And I just want to thank everybody in the chat who's reached out constantly. You know, and I just appreciate all the people, the support, the love. I can't even begin. It would take up a whole show if I told you everything that people have jumped in, family, friends have jumped in to do for us over the last 6 weeks, you know, including you guys. And I can't thank you enough. I have been humbled and just honored that so many people have taken time to constantly ask, what can I do? How's she doing? What do you need? So on and so forth. You know, considering the situation, I couldn't even begin to ask for anything more.
Yeah, well, listen, we're thrilled to hear it. Okay, that makes the holiday season, man, that she's doing better. So glad to hear it. Please give her our best. Okay,
absolutely.
We're all asking for.
God is good.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, look. Let's go to the Eagles here, and you know, nice distraction from real life is what it should be, right? But it has not been pretty of late, D Gunn. I know you've kept your eye on it as much as you possibly can. So give us your insights on just, you know, how quickly things have fallen here. You went from 10-1 to 10-4. And it feels like the sky's falling right now.
In the immortal words of what was the movie? We were hoodwinked. We were bamboozled. We didn't fall on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock fell on us.
Malcolm X. Yeah.
Malcolm X. The signs have been there all season. We were just blinded by the fact that this team jumped out to that fast start. Then at one point they were 10-1. You know, we applauded the team for finding ways to win. But if you really sit back and think about it, go back and look at the season and how they won a number of games. You know, Justin Jefferson dropping a ball towards the end zone goes out of bounds. Same game, Vikings on a potential game-winning drive, the tight end catches the ball foot out of bounds. A couple of games where teams had the potential to go-ahead drive going. On a fourth down play, receiver catches the ball out of bounds. A 59-yard field goal to send the game into overtime just to win that game. The signs have always been there. We were just enamored with the fact that, number one, this team was 3 points away from a Super Bowl. Number two, they had an incredible draft. And number three, they got out of the gate as quickly as they did. But all of those things that went in their favor are now going against them, plain and simple. And I do believe, here's what I believe, and I've said this. I believe with how they got demoralized by San Francisco in their backyard, took a lot out of them. Now, it may sound weird, but I think in a lot of ways that crushed their spirit to a certain degree. Because how much do we chastise the 49ers all spring, all summer, about if we had Brock Purdy, if we had been full strength, and we kept saying, just shut up and wait till you play, and then the anticipation. And we get here, and the game gets there. and the Eagles go down the field twice. They put 3s on the board instead of 6s. And then all of a sudden, San Francisco said enough of this and basically embarrassed them in their own backyard. Now, granted, even when San Francisco had that 3-game losing streak, I said they're still the best team in football, the most complete team in football, and they're showing it now. And then the Eagles go down to Dallas and get smoked by Dallas. I do think some of the wind has been taken out of their sail to a certain degree. And then, of course, you go back to last week, which is one of the strangest weeks. On Tuesday, Nick Sirianni. Are they going to be a coach? No. Then he tells you after the game. He tells you after the game on hold on. This watch again. Look at it. This oh my goodness.
Some things never change. I love it. Yes.
I missed you, D-Gun. I missed you, man.
Messing up my mojo here. All right, I'm back.
There you go.
So then he tells you after the game last night that he made the decision to switch the coaches on Wednesday or Thursday.
Yep.
So that was a lie.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, this unexpected knee surgery by Darius. I refuse to call Slay Darius. Okay. Then all of a sudden, a shocker. We're making a switch in terms of who's going to be calling the defensive plays. And then, of course, you guys know the report I had after the game against Dallas. Players told me that their passing routes take too long to develop compared to Dallas. And then all of a sudden, this stuff, A.J. Brown stuff today. I mean, really?
What are you worried about?
Really? I mean, come on, man. I mean, seriously.
Yeah,
you're a grown man.
It's just been a hot mess all across the board. I mean, it's just been – they've been the most dysfunctional over the past week than I've seen them in a long time. And I'm having a hard time taking Nick Sirianni seriously in his role. I'm having a hard time taking any of the staff seriously because it just seems like everybody is just hanging on by the skin of their teeth. I'm curious to know, again, we all welcomed a change, but I think how they handled this past week has just been the biggest issue. Did you think the change was necessary, D-Gun? And if so, how did you feel personally about just how they handled this stuff throughout the week and keeping Sean Desai on staff and demoting him and just all the bells and whistles surrounding this thing?
If I was in Nick Sirianni's shoes and I was answering the question last week, will there be coaching changes? I would have very politely said, we are looking at everything and left it at that. I would have left it very vague. I would have not given you a definitive no on a Tuesday and all of a sudden make that change on Wednesday, because now it leads me to believe that maybe this just wasn't Sirianni's decision alone, that there might have some pressure come from up top in terms of we need to change directions. And I will say this about Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia, he gets lauded as being this great defensive mind, but he was not a good defensive coach when he's away from Bill Belichick. Think about it. Look at his numbers. Look at his stats. Away from Bill Belichick, Matt Patricia is not who we built up to be. Okay. And it showed. And I said after the game last night, I posted on Twitter, I said, after watching this game, I'm convinced now it's not coordinators, it's player personnel. It's player personnel. How many weeks have we been talking about the shoddy tackling? Mm-hmm. Last night, Kenneth Walker, it was like a gorilla shaking coconuts off a tree. Every time they try to tackle this man, he's shaking them. That one play that stood out where, Sidney Brown had him in the backfield.
Had him
and
dead
he
right.
slipped under him, dipped to the left side and picked up 7 yards.
Mm-hmm.
They could not bring this man down. Shoddy tackling again.
Yeah.
So it's personnel. You can say, well, they're not being coached up right. Well, you know what? Okay, coaching is a certain part of it, but it's physical effort as well. They're not getting pressure on quarterbacks consistently. They're not tackling consistently. The offense is in a state of disarray. This was an offense, guys, that was averaging 28 points a game the first half of the season. Last 3 games are averaging what, 21 a game?
16.
Oh, down to 16 now. So it's a lot of what Jalen Hurts is saying. It's commitment, it is focus or lack thereof. But why? See, I agree with what's being said, but I have to ask the question, why? You still, even at this point, have one of the best records in all of pro football. Why is there a lack of effort? And I believe Jalen said something about the practices, the way they practice.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Well, that begs the question, D-Gun. Had they
Why?
lost faith in their coaching staff? Had they lost faith in the game plan?
Tone, I will say this. Even in a losing effort, when you look at the talent on this team, especially the offensive side, this team could go out on the field against anybody, and that includes San Francisco, and should be able to put up accidentally 25 points a game. Accidentally 25 points a game. Even if they lose, they should still accidentally be put up to 25 points a game. There's no excuse for them being held to 17 points in Seattle. Seattle's the 25th ranked defense. You came out of the gate, you walked down the field, chewed up 8.5 minutes on the clock, you set the tone and got a touchdown. Your 2 first half scoring drives chewed up almost 17 minutes of a 30-minute half. And you mean to tell me all you could do is score 7 points in the second half against an inferior defense? And I beg to ask the question, why? And a lot of times, I've covered this game a long time, losing brings out what a lot of people are thinking. When you're winning, everybody's happy. It's Camelot. Even if there are deficiencies, nobody's going to point fingers, right? And you get Derrick Slade coming out of his mouth last week. Hey, I played a great game, but we stunk. Whoa, wait a minute. You got a C on your uniform. You're supposed to lead by example. And you say something like that, I mean, so you put yourself on an island and you're fingering everybody else. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Darius has played okay sometime, but Darius has not played like a Pro Bowl cornerback this year.
You know what? He's been the best of a bad lot, right? Because Bradbury looks like he's cooked.
What is that saying? What is that saying, Rob?
Yeah.
What's that saying about him?
Derrick, you're right.
If you're honest with yourself, how do you let those words come out of your mouth? Especially when this team's in dire straits like this. As a leader, you do not let those words come out of your mouth, even if you're thinking it.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the words come out of their mouths. Now, I will tell you this because, it blew up last week when I said, players told me this and it blew up. And I will tell you again after the game, a couple players told me we felt that we called a good game. A good game offensively was called. But unfortunately, we could not finish drives, and we left our defense in a bad spot.
Agreed.
I think that's a fair situation.
Okay, so that's a good – Gunner, that's a good lead into this. If the plays are there, and we've watched a bunch of stuff today and et cetera. Baldy did a great breakdown of guys being wide open.
Right.
What's happening with Jalen, man? Why this regression? Why this inability to see everybody as opposed to just focusing in laser focused on AJ or whatever? What's happening there?
Is it hero ball? Is it hero ball? I mean, but Rob, again, let me go back to what I said initially. What we saw Jalen do last night, he's been doing all season. How many times have we talked about him missing wide open receivers on crossing routes and trying to go for a deeper shot? But see, early in the season, he hit those shots. He throw one deep down the field. Zacchaeus, touchdown. People are going nuts. Jalen, MVP candidate. He's missing those shots now. You know why? Because defenses are playing them differently. What did Julian Love say last night on the interception that defined the game? He said, you know what? I just felt he was going to number 11. And he said, I leaned over that way, and I saw his eyes, and sure enough, he did. Okay? Look at the shot he missed. And I know you guys have talked about this. Look at the shot he missed. Devontae Smith, the underneath route. Wide open.
Wide open.
Devontae could have run from Seattle to Philadelphia. He had that much space. Okay. Look at the shot he missed on the check down, wide open to Gainwell. He's been doing it all season. It's just that he's made a bigger play to cover up for that. Now defenses are taking that away from him. And instead of going to plan B and C, he still thinks he can complete plan A, and it's not working.
Don't you think that goes into the what he's being coached up? And I'm not taking any pressure off of him, but this offense, what they pride themselves on, they believe in passing instead of the run and the explosive plays and, winning the turnover battle. And, okay, now you're not winning the turnover battle. Now the explosive plays aren't there. So now, coaches, how are you going to tweak your philosophy? And I think that explosive play philosophy, they haven't bothered to tweak it, not even in their play calling or their game planning. And again, I'm not taking pressure off Hurts because he's been playing terribly. But again, I think it's a philosophy issue. And when you coach someone up to look downfield and then bring your eyes back down closer to the line of scrimmage, he's naturally going to miss those guys. Like, wouldn't you say so? Wouldn't you say so?
People want to say it's coaching. I guarantee you one thing. All the things that we noticed throughout the course of this season are talked about in practices. They're looked at in film. They're talked about. It comes down to the decision maker under center.
Fair enough, yeah.
and he still thinks he can play that hero ball. Okay, why he doesn't check down this year? He checked down fine last year, led him to a Super Bowl. Why is he not checking down this year? This started from day one. This is not something that's just been happening over the last couple of weeks. He'll roll out, pat the ball, and throw it away, or try to throw it in a tight hole, or try to throw the deep balls not there. And we look at the replays. Announcers show you the replays. You got guys standing there waving flags like they're bringing in a plane on a runway, wide open, and he's not throwing them the ball. You know what? You can say a lot about coaching.
Yeah,
I'm guarantee you these things are being discussed in practice sessions, in film sessions.
Yeah.
It comes down to the individual making the decision at the most crucial times of a game, and he's not making the right decisions.
Do you think it's the contract?
I don't think it's a contract. I think if there's anybody who can handle that volume of money, it's Jalen. I am not going to say it's a contract when we've applauded him all off season and even last year with the maturity level he has for a 24, 25-year-old. I'm not going to say it's the money, because he's not the only one getting paid. Look at, Joe Burrow got paid. He's out for the season. Sean Watson got paid, out for the season. Justin Herbert, has Justin Herbert lived up to the money? No.
Right.
He got the money, but I don't think it's the money with Jalen. I think Jalen, if I sat across from this man, he's the last person I would want to sit across from at a table playing poker. Because you never know what he's thinking. I think he's just that cool. I just think it's one of those things. I've covered this game so long. I've seen this happen too many times. You see the best of the best and the worst of the worst, and sometimes it's like a flicking on a light switch. It goes from dark to light and light to dark in a matter of a moment.
Well, let me ask you about Sirianni, because one of the things we always talked about was he had the emotional ties. They played for him, et cetera, et cetera. But we haven't seen this, Derrick. Things were pretty smooth sailing last year and for the early portion of this year. It feels like now there's some desperation creeping in, right? I mean, they did the switch with Cy and Patricia. Looking like Brian Johnson may not be that guy either. And you got players talking, and there's all kinds of stuff happening that feels like the cracks of a foundation, which we never thought we'd be discussing right now. You feel like he's the guy to get it back on track here?
No matter what I say, he's the only option right now. He's the only option. The thing is, they play 3 inferior opponents to close out the season. There's a very good chance they'll still win the division, okay? That will appease people only so much. All they need is a win to get this monkey off their back, to get this pressure off their back, this albatross off their chest, which is really building up over the last 3 weeks. A win takes away a lot of different things. I'm not sure they're going to win all 3 of these games. I think they will. I have said before on different platforms over the last several weeks, I believe Arizona is going to give this team a problem. I really do. I think Arizona is going to give them a problem, and Arizona does not have anywhere near the talent the Eagles do. But just because they're a hungry team playing for jobs, and you got the Energizer Bunny back there running around, and this defense can't get sacks, and this defense can't cover much of anybody, all you need is a quarterback that can scramble to buy time, and somebody's going to get open, Rob. We know this.
Yeah.
And I think Arizona is going to make it closer than it should be. Now, if the Eagles lose any one of these 3 games, people who are already standing on the rails of the Walt Whitman Bridge might push them over the edge. I mean, it just might, before you even get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
At the very worst, they better try to get that number 2 seed, because if they're number 3 seed, I don't see them beating Detroit in Detroit. They can beat Detroit in Philly. I don't see, because Jared Goff in a dome is like a Hall of Fame quarterback in a dome compared to playing outside.
Yeah. I agree. Obviously, we're having some technical issues, not Gunner and I, but Tone. Tone had to check out. That's why we're in this weird double box thing that doesn't quite fit our giant domes. Yeah. Hi. Hello, Vogue. Come on, Vogue.
Strike a pose.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you in that sense. Like, if anybody thinks the Giants won't take great pleasure in playing the spoiler here, just to stick it to the Eagles, you're kidding yourself, man. That they would welcome that. And whatever the Cardinals are, Derrick, it feels like they play close games. So I don't think by any stretch these are easy. The Eagles are 10.5-point favorites for this game. I mean, that's a lot
against the
considering
Giants,
how they're playing. Yeah, considering the way that they're playing.
Well, considering the team of all teams, the Saints just held them to 6 points. See, the Giants are that Jekyll and Hyde team. You don't know who's showing up on a daily basis, a weekly basis. This DeVito thing, he won 3 in a row. Everybody, he's a Pied Piper of New York now, doing commercials. Probably has his own sandwich in New York, and then all of a sudden he came crashing back to earth against a team like the Saints this past Sunday.
Yeah.
Now, because the next game is a primetime game against their hated divisional foes, and I was here in Philadelphia, I expect it to be a closer game. I really do. I think Saquon's going to have a good game against this team that all of a sudden was number 1 in the league against the rush, is now giving up 154 games on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what in the world's going on? It's like Groundhog Day here. Like, what the heck is going on here?
That's a good – all right, Gunnar. So the defensive line, which I think the two things that you counted on most were Jalen and the defensive line. And the defensive line, is not the same. And I know they weren't going to get 70 sacks like they got last year. That was crazy.
Right.
But they're not getting to the quarterback as consistently. The run part of it has abandoned them. No. And you have guys who just have gone through long stretches without being really impactful.
I wonder if whether it's Desai or Patricia, they truly trust the personnel they have at their disposal. I mean, think about this. Look at how many games they've had to piecemeal that back end of that defense. Mm-hmm. Look at your middle linebacker has been out twice, this time longer than the first time. You're bringing in a backer off the street. You brought in a safety off the street. You brought in a nickel corner off the street. It hasn't gelled yet. Now, I hate to say this, maybe Father Time has finally caught up to my guy, Brandon Graham. Maybe Father Time has caught up to Fletcher Cox. They're playing well in spurts, but not consistently to get the job done. When you got a dude like Drew Lock, walking down the field on you, 152 left in the game, you start a drive at the 8-yard line. Now, granted, he was aided by two phenomenal catches. Metcalf, and, of course, the young guy in Jigba for the game-winning score.
Yep.
But the fact that young man had poised to stand in that pocket, you know why? Because he wasn't under pressure.
Right.
Wasn't under pressure. And you allowed a backup quarterback and a rookie who only had 2 touchdown catches prior to that catch last night to beat you at the most crucial point of the game. Speaks volumes about where this team is mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Yep. D-Gun, I'm not sure if you guys touched on this while I was away, but real quick, I got to ask you this. Howie Roseman, he's made a series of moves throughout the offseason to try to, circumvent or sort of or supplement the losses that they've had, right? At linebacker, on the D line, at safety, at corner, so on and so forth, right? And I'm curious to know, how much blame do you put on how much blame do you put on Howie Roseman for the way this season has turned out, especially from the player personnel perspective?
How do you blame Howie? I mean, think about it. You brought back the guy and paid him who finished number 2 in the league in MVP. Your offense is intact. We talked about this all offseason, except for Seamalo. The offensive line was intact. Your primary pass catchers are back. You went out and got a very good running back in Swift. We couldn't speak highly enough about that move.
Well, I speak mainly for the defensive side, because to me it seems like there was a series of miscalculations, especially at linebacker.
They never paid linebackers. That's not a surprise. But they won 14 games last year with the linebackers. And T.J. Edwards emerged. Now, T.J. Edwards got, $25-26 million to go to Chicago. He wanted to go home. Basically, he wanted to go home. What does this team pay linebackers, Tone? Think about it. They don't pay linebackers. And let's face it, if you look at every team in the National Football League, whatever their strength is, they have to have a weakness somewhere else, because you can't pay everybody. You go back to Kansas City. They went with a bunch of kids on the back end of that defense because they had to pay other people. And lo and behold, they still found a way to win the Super Bowl because you got that guy named Mahomes under center, okay? They won a Super Bowl. No, there's no way they could win a Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill. No way. They won a Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill. This Eagles team was – we all agreed, man for man, on paper, starters, depth, draft picks included, we all felt, and the national pundits as well, that this Eagles team had the best roster in the National Football League. And they played like that. Even though they didn't play dominant football, they played winning football. They found it's like Freddy Krueger and Jason. When you thought you buried them, they'd rise from the ashes and find a way to win a game. And that's what they did. Okay. Now, all of a sudden, stuff's catching up to them now. Doesn't look so good now. And people are saying, you shouldn't have paid Hurts all that money. Why not? It's the norm. It's what the market called for.
And the cat pits aren't dramatic at all. So
It's what it called for.
Right.
Herbert got paid. Has he won anything? Has Burrow won anything? Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, have they won anything? They got paid, right?
Right.
It's what the market called for.
Gunnar, how deeply has your faith been shaken that they can still win a Super Bowl or get to a Super Bowl based off of what you've seen and knowing how good the Niners are, et cetera?
The way they're playing right now, I don't think they can even get close. I don't even think they could buy tickets to get to a Super Bowl, to be honest with you. There's still time to rectify some problems. And as we know, that second season, we can sit here, all of us across the nation, we analyze this, that, and the other. And when it comes to the second season, there's always a shocker somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, this team could get its mojo back by the playoffs, but I will say this: they better do it as a 2 seed and not a 5 seed, because I don't think they can go to both Detroit and San Francisco and win both of those games. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. If somehow they can get to 2 seed and get to San Francisco, I do believe San Francisco would win that game. But like I said, on any given Sunday, you just don't know.
Right.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
Agree. Yeah. Last one for me, D Gun. I miss you, man. And it's been a while since we actually had the chance to really kick it like this, man. So obviously, you've been battling with a lot of things at home and all that kind of stuff. But what have you been doing to take care of yourself throughout this process?
Spending a lot of time with Trish. I'm down there a lot of days, 7-8 hours a day. But then, in the latter stages, we've had so many friends visiting her. My girls go down and help her do her makeup and her hair, and she's doing it, doing a lot for herself. She's of the mindset now, I can do it. I'll do it. That's always her mindset. Running a lot of errands, on the phone with various companies. We got to order this for the home and stuff like that. So I keep mentally stimulated with a routine, still running errands, grocery shopping, all that kind of stuff. So I can't sit. I just can't sit. I've never been the kind of person. And if you know anything about my family, we're not a family that sits and wallows in misery in any circumstance. We're a family that attacks. You get the tears out of the way, and then you regroup and say, okay, what do we have to do moving forward? And that's the kind of family we are. And so, with all the people and a lot of orchestrating, visiting windows for a lot of friends. Can I come at this time? Let me check with Trish. No, this person or these people are coming at 5 o'clock. Can you come at 6 o'clock? Right. And plus, I'm her secretary. When I'm in a room, because she's still working mentally, she goes, I need you to call this guy. She's still working. I need you to tell him I need this business card changed. I still need this changed. I need this changed here. I got to get this. And I'm like, hun, they're taking this off your plate so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, but it's my responsibility. No, it is, but it's not. Everybody in unison wants you to focus on you. She will never do that. Right. She will never sit. So it's like a battle with her. But getting to spend this quality time, and I can't thank JAKIB Media enough for telling me, Joe Krause telling me, D Gun, we got you. You go take care of your wife. We don't care how long it takes you. You take care of your wife. You guys, D Gun, don't ever worry about coming back. We got you. That's a big burden lift, because you guys know me. I'm always thinking, I need to do this. I should be doing this. When you get that kind of confirmation, it releases a heavy burden off you in a lot of ways. It's gonna be a different home, no question about it. But because of my kids and friends, and she'll have in-home therapy, several times a week, to keep her, stimulated. And she's learned a lot of exercises she can do herself now. It's gonna be different, but it's just gonna be good to have her back. She hasn't been home in 6 weeks. And it's just going to be good to have her home. And every day she's asking me, what does my bathroom look like? What does my office look like? Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. What color is it? What color is it? So I always tell her, I don't know. But see, my guys who are doing this, Paul Birch and his wife Mia, are the ones who orchestrated doing all this. Paul's a Philadelphian through and through. So he's downstairs. I don't know if you can hear saws buzzing and stuff. Some friends of ours, including Paul, down there now. When he started this project, he says, I'm going to do this with Trish's decor in mind, meaning what color schemes and stuff like that. Something. First of all, you guys are doing all this for free, and the first thing they think of is, I want to do this with Trish's decor in mind. Color schemes. So that's the kind of people we're surrounded by. I will tell you guys this: if if you ever have to go through something that's devastating from one minute to the next, surround yourself with as many people as you feel comfortable with and as you trust as you possibly can, because the support group you get is just as important as the family you have helping you as well. You really find out who you can count on in a clutch. And you guys know us. My wife and my kids and I, we've dedicated over 2 decades of our lives to investing in people.
Yep.
And I tell this story. God spoke to me shortly after it happened and says, now stand back and watch how I invest in you. And let people bless you. You've blessed so many. Let the people you've blessed bless you. And the blessings we received.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
Yes, sir. So,
Well,
in the process, you know what we got to do, Rob. We got to make sure people know what to do.
Yeah. So, all right, here, very simple. Tone's got it pinned in the chat as well. Okay. So you can link up there. You could go to D Gunn's Facebook page, link up there as well. The full explanation of what some of the things Derrick was referencing, what's going on with Trish, the lovely Trish who you see right there. And Derrick's taking care of business. That's what he's doing right now. And anything that you can do is appreciated. And as we say, Derrick, Tone and I say this all the time, even if you can't do anything from a monetary standpoint, just throw a couple prayers and good thoughts up there. So that's kind of where it's at.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Love you guys, man.
Hey, man.
Gunner, we love you more, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
We're grateful to have your friendship. Blessed to know you.
Yep.
And many more blessings are coming. I can feel that, and we know that.
Yeah, we love you, man.
I love our chat, man. Our chat room is great. I plan on being back with you guys again this week. So, just let me know. I'll let you know. As soon as Trish gets settled, she's home tomorrow. As soon as we get her in. Thursday or Friday, I'll jump back on with you guys and talk some more football.
All right. Sounds good, Derrick. All right. Go take care of Trish. We'll talk to you soon, man. Appreciate you.
Take care.
All right. All right. The great D Gunn right there. It's good stuff, Tone. It puts, here's what that does today. It puts the Eagles situation in perspective.
Yeah. It does. It does.
Okay.
It does. It's at the end of the day, it's a kid's game.
Yeah.
It's a kid's game. And the stakes are never as high as we make them.
Yeah.
And when you go through things at home with family members, friends, loved ones, however you want to slice it, the last thing you're thinking about is a football game. So I'm grateful, to be able to have, these experiences with you, with D Gunn. When I was going through what I was going through with my mother when she, got sick and she had to get a kidney transplant and all that kind of stuff. Many a times, I produced on the fly. I'm producing in the hospital. I'm producing, at my brother's house because it was close by the hospital, and just doing a lot of moving around, a lot of moving and shaking. And a lot of people didn't really know what was going on because I was just trying to, stay focused. So I'm grateful to have your friendship. I'm grateful for D Gunn's friendship, and I'm grateful for the live chat as well. You guys are tremendous, and you guys truly do love this show, and we love you guys even more.
Yeah, back at you, man, 100%. And we're family. So let's get a timeout. Let's come back, and we'll roll into the final segment. We'll hit some Eagles. We'll jump around a little bit, and we'll put a cap on this thing. That is Tone. I am Rob. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. We'll be right back.
I remember getting my heart broken when they lost the Super Bowl in 2004. We're big Eagles fans. We moved to South Philly because of the Eagles. When they won, we went straight to Broad Street, and everybody was going nuts over there, and it was just a memory that you'll never forget.